Yo, what's up, people? Super Icy here,
What's
and I'm
up?
not alone. Please introduce yourselves, if you please.
My name is Ken, and I'm Isaiah's friend. I don't do the YouTube, but I don't know. Isaiah's an alright guy, so I'm here.
And we also have.
Malachi.
Yeah, he's quite a bit quiet right now, I guess.
Okay,
But
Malachi just doesn't get to share. Fucking bastard.
what? Well then, okay then. Uh,
Jesus.
oh jeez. Did you move yourself?
Malachi, your mic's muted.
That was not. But
What is this sound?
Oh,
What are you doing?
hello.
what was that?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. What
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh,
What was that? What was that?
Trying to see if I could hear me. I was just like, all right, but
Okay,
hello.
please.
yeah,
Introduce
okay. So
Please
Isaiah,
introduce
what are we
yourself.
talking about today, buddy?
I'm Malachi. I sometimes make YouTube videos. I mainly make beats and I play games.
Okay, no, you don't get to talk anymore. Isaiah, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about something interesting that happened. We got to experience the PlayStation VR today.
Indeed.
Okay. So, we all know how Nintendo these past few years have been holding their events at Best Buy. Well, this year, Sony decided to do the same thing. And we're here today to talk about the experiences with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought there was gonna be way more people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got
Yeah,
okay.
we just start off with that.
It started at 3, right? We came popping. We got there at 1:30. Because we thought there'd be a line. Nothing. So we're like, okay, hey, that's actually pretty good. We'll get right up in there. But no, because 3 o'clock rolls around, right? And beforehand they tell us that there's these little tickets you have to get, like pretty much get your roll in line, right?
Right.
And we get these tickets. Literally, these tickets have nothing, right? So they're like, we haven't even cut the tickets yet. You'll be fine. We go to get our tickets. They're 4 o'clock tickets, not 3 o'clock. No, they're 5 o'clock, actually.
5 o'clock tickets.
And we're like, what happened? We were here. You know, they said
Where were the 3 o'clock tickets?
they said they didn't even have tickets ready yet. So what's
Yeah.
happened? And they were like,
I'm sorry. We kind of goofed.
Exactly. And like, was anyone actually there at 3? on the
nobody was
VR?
there. Like, we
Exactly.
saw nobody there. We're like, where are these what happened to all these tickets that you only have 5 o'clock left? They're like, okay, well, we found some 4 o'clock in the back. Like, yeah.
Like in the back. What?
Explain what happened
And-
for the camera.
Okay, so Best Buy some fuck niggas. So we walked up in Best Buy, right? We said we here for this PlayStation VR, right? Right. And what happens is we get up.
An hour.
Yeah, we get up to the PlayStation VR. We're like, hey, do we need anything in order to do this? They're like, yeah, you need a ticket. I'm like, all right. So are the tickets available yet? They said no, the tickets aren't available yet. No, they said they're cutting them right now. And we get to the and then it's like we go to get the tickets and they're like, yeah, all we have left is 4 to 5, 5 to 6. We're like, what happened to 3 to 4? They're like, oh, we're out of those. Well, you said you hadn't cut them yet. I'm done. Turn off the camera.
Exactly.
End the video right there.
Yeah, so they said they found it. They found that they said they found those in the back. So that's cool. That's whatever.
Yeah.
And so
Was it too far back?
we leave, we come back, we leave, kill some time till 4, come back, bam, it's time. We are VR, right?
Hey.
It's about that time. And
It is.
Right.
and then we have our experience. So,
Yeah.
quick rundown.
I also like to
Actually,
touch on the
just quick side note, not the main event, but we actually got to try Gear VR for the first time. I believe nobody other than Malachi has tried it before.
Yeah, I already have it. We have.
It
I
was
have
my
one.
first
Yeah,
time.
Malachi has a Gear VR. Everyone else, it was a first time experience. Nobody
I
else.
also
has
wanted to
tried it
touch
yet.
on the fact that
Anybody want to share
has,
thoughts?
Okay.
yeah, I was going to
okay.
say there's 100 games in development and 60 ready for launch for this PlayStation VR.
PlayStation VR.
Yeah. But as far as the gear, while we're on the topic, we are getting kind of rambly. While we're on the topic, with the gear, I will say that with the gear, it's comfortable. My only downside is it's very limited by what it is, right? Because think about what this is. This is a phone, and your main source of games are using Sideloader, an app that lets you, if you have an NVIDIA card, lets you basically stream your games, kind of like you stream from NVIDIA builds to a Shield. Same difference.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah, if that's your niche, yeah.
yeah, and it's like your Wi-Fi will have to be on point. That's my only thing. Your Wi-Fi will have to be on point, and it's so limited. And it's also limited to mostly experiences that aren't honestly built from the ground up if you're using your Steam library, right? That's my only issue with that. Other than that, it was comfortable. It's powered by Oculus, so it works well enough.
I mean,
That's all I
mean,
I think the most neat thing was the game streaming, and like I said, that's kind of internet has to be on point. What
games that you can get with it, like on your phone, like the games you can download with it, like for it, they're not bad. They're much
smaller?
it's not.
experiences?
Yeah, they're still pretty great. It's actually not bad at all. I'd say I can compare it to the PlayStation VR, but it definitely doesn't look nearly as good. But it's definitely, you can still get close to that same immersive experience with it.
Right. Okay.
Especially if you get headphones and like a Bluetooth controller, like Bluetooth headphone connected, it's pretty much the same thing, but less good. It doesn't look as good as the VR.
I think my favorite part about
and less of a library.
My favorite part about the gear was those little pads that reverb the sound to your temples, because that was trippy. Because I was like, this is really because I asked the dude, I'm like, this is really loud considering I'm not wearing headphones. And he's like, oh yeah, it's going through your temples, bruh. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take it.
I was like, wow. That was an amazing use of technology right there.
Yeah, I like that. But, okay, anyone else have anything to say on the gear, or should we move into the main course here?
I do want to say this.
Other thing I want to say is, can you go first?
Okay. I do want to say this. Is that maybe we want to explain what we experienced in the gear?
That's what I'm saying, because I did a write-up on it on Tumblr, and it's like, I literally, how I worded it on that was, it felt, the way I worded it in the write-up was, it felt like a collage of what could be rather than a wholesome experience. Like, it felt yo, race car, dude, race car, dude, look, now you're on the beach, dude, now you're in Daredevil suit, dude,
now it's Shark Week.
now it's Shark Week, bruh.
That's what I was about to say. Like the parts, like you didn't actually get to have an experience with what they showed you, like from personal experience from like actual games. Right. The only real downside for it is how on the side, if you didn't notice, on the side of the thingy, there's a D-pad. So if you want to play a game, you have to use the D-pad on the side of your face. So it kind of gets it less immersive. That's why it'd be much better to get a Bluetooth controller for it, because the controller is implemented on the side of the face mask for the Gear VR.
That's actually really bad design. I didn't even notice it because, like I said, we didn't have a real hands-on experience with it. Yeah. It was just a slideshow. I mean, it was a pretty slideshow. 360, I can look all around me. They had the little swiveling chairs. That was neat, but
yeah, but you didn't notice.
It was a very partial experience. It felt like a very here's a taste. 99 for the rest, please.
It just gets uncomfortable on the side of the face a little bit because you have to keep holding your hand up trying to
right. It's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the entire point is we are VR.
Exactly.
So, anybody else have any thoughts on the gear? that we haven't spoken yet, or you think we're good to move
Also,
to?
just to point out for people, you probably need an S6
S6
and
up.
above.
S6 and above is what the rep said.
Because anything before, like my phone, I have an S5, so I have to use my brother's phone every time I want to get on the QVR.
Yeah, definitely S6 and above is what
Yeah,
the man.
and Notes. Galaxy Notes also work too if
Yeah,
they're
and Notes.
of size.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, it's also rather cheap, only $100.
Yeah, only at
Yeah.
100. This is
Only 100.
definitely like if you're like I want to get in V. Okay, here's the deal. If you're in a spot where you're like I need to get on the VR train now, but I'm not exactly in a financial situation, this might be your pick. Like, but here's the thing. I feel like the value only comes if you're in a situation where you already have all the other pieces of the equation, right? So if you already have a Samsung phone and you already have a
Possibly Bluetooth controller, which would help.
and you already have a Bluetooth controller and you already have an NVIDIA rig, then
And-
I'm like,
As the dude said, if you have a PS4 controller, you can hook that up to your phone too.
or you have a PS4 controller with a dongle, or you have an NVIDIA rig, then I will give you I will say, yeah, it's a very good value pick, you know? That's all I can really give it is good value pick. I don't feel like it stacks up in terms of value for your investment. Like initial value, oh yeah, it's unmatched, it's unpeered, it's 99, you know? But it's everything else you have to have with it. It's only that you're only getting that value if you already have everything else.
It's ironic because I went next door when I left for a little bit earlier. I went next door. My brother was in the kitchen on the Gear VR, it does look kind of silly because he's sitting there, sitting by the refrigerator but the cool feature about it also is it has pass through, so you can also see the world around you if you want by going to the camera, and then it has, since your phone is sort of open, you can just see what's on the other side. So you can sort of not have to take it off if you really want to look like that. So it's still clean though, yeah. Like it's clean. Like, you can really just walk around with it on and still see your environment. And then on the thing also at the top of it, above the D-pad, there's a button that can take you home, and it's sort of like a mouse button. That's how you open all your apps, and you can go to like Google Cardboard and like these different VR.
We're not talking about Google Cardboard.
The less
Sure,
we mention about that thing, the better.
But the app for it is actually high key clean, and there's also Samsung VR, and the interface is clean for both of them. It looks very nice, like the home screen for it, and like for the Samsung VR, you're like in a hotel, like a lounge, and then all your games are on the wall. It looks really nice, honestly.
Okay. Anything else to add, Icy, or should we go straight in to the PSVR?
I really don't have anything else to add, so I think we can just jump straight into
All
the
right.
PSVR now.
So once we actually got into the line at 4:00, I went first. I think we should just go in the order we had. So
Yeah, you played
They
Battlezone first.
yeah, so they had 5 demos on display. One was pretty much three-dimensional Tetris. One was a tank game called Battlezone. One was a game actually based on Eve. That was Eve Valkyrie. That's what it's called, and it was a flight game.
And there's a head something.
The Headmaster, and it's literally a
Headmaster.
game about heading soccer balls into goals and into targets. That is the
then
game.
there's-
Literally with your actual head.
Literally, like you're
Yeah.
swinging that neck. You
Exactly.
gotta have a strong neck to play that game. You
12
swing.
year olds
Note
and
to
12
self,
and above.
PlayStation VR is not allowed to be used by kids under
Oh yeah, it said it had an age limit. It was like 12 and under can't use it. No, it was 12 and above can. 11 and under can't. That was crazy. Because their necks aren't developed enough to use it. They're not strong
Or 6
necks.
to 11 years old. They can use 3D on the 3DS.
Yeah, they can use 3
No, it did.
because
it
their
did
necks aren't strong, Isaiah. Anyway, and
It wasn't
then-
it wasn't that heavy though, to be honest.
It was not. But then there was the only one that was like not an actual game. It was just kind of like you're in there and
it was-
experiencing it, which was it was literally called VR Experience, and there's different options of it, but they only let you play the ocean one. So, and that where I come in, where first, because my thing with VR is, there's two things I'm interested in for VR. I'm either want to play a first-person shooter, or I'm going to be driving or flying something. So I'm like, okay, you got tanks? Cool. I'll take that. Get in the game, control, and it starts.
This is Battlezone.
Yeah, this is Battlezone.
Yeah.
And it starts, right? It starts, you're in the cockpit, and you're looking around. It's like, okay, blah, 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 here are the controls. Neat thing about it was, if you could look down at any time, and the controller would just be floating there, right?
Yeah, that was fire. Especially
That's
Yeah,
the
it was just-
thing with
Tetris
every
games.
VR game that was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, every VR game that was there, you could look down and check the controls anytime because there's just a controller floating there. Yeah, but if you anytime or anywhere you were holding the controller, if you were like holding it way out to your left, it would be over there. But anyway, basically, unless you were staring right at it, the controller disappeared from your sight, which is good. There was, and so Battlezone started. The reason it was very fluid, I would describe the controls, because nothing too crazy outside of the VR. It was just right stick to aim and shoot, right stick to aim, X to reload, square to change weapons, and R2 to shoot, right? And the part that made it fluid to me is it's not fluid if you try to think of it in games thought, which I feel like is the big leap people are going to have to take. But if you think about it, like in a more realistic space, it makes sense. For example, during the tutorial part, it was like, okay, now aim at all the targets, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I'll aim at all. And it's like, I couldn't find the next target. But then I'm like, wait a minute. The right stick is only my aiming reticle. And then I have to remember the camera's my head. That's the main thing. You have 3 analog sticks now. In some of these, like a lot of these games are using it that way, in a way where you have 3 analog sticks. Your head is an analog stick. Your right and left stick. That's how a lot of games are using it right now.
Very wise to get a swivel chair or.
Oh yeah,
turning
very
chair.
wise to play these in an office chair or standing. Like
Yeah.
they did,
Very
they
much
had
so.
they had a normal chair at the the demo, and I found myself very often hitting up that we backing up the car, arm over the chair, trying to so I can look at what's behind me. So I highly recommend if you're gonna play these things, play it in an office chair, play it standing up, just sitting in a normal chair or on your lounging on your couch is not gonna really cut it. Just get a really comfy office chair that spins. Then, so I get in the game and I'm playing. I'm enjoying myself actually all the way through the tutorial and like the first part of the first fight. It's really fluid. I'm having a good time, right?
And
But
then comes the snafu.
then comes a snafu where I'm sitting there for like 5 minutes and I hear bullets coming out. So I'm thinking that, okay, it's VR. I'm just not used to controls. I'm probably just missing my shots. No, actually. The
There was
demo,
no ammo.
the demo broke on me. I like the guy said the signal to say you're motion sick and you want out is to raise your hand. I raised my hand. He was like, "You feeling sick?" I said, "No, I just cannot figure out for the life of me how to aim and shoot. It's like I'm aiming, I'm not hitting anything." And he's like, "Huh, that's odd. Did you try this or that?" And I put the headset back on. I try it, and then he picks up the controller and tries it, and he says, "Oh, it's broken." Okay. He picks it up and says, "It's broken." And I'm like, "Cool, okay." So what we're going to
And
do
then
is
he
I
put
can,
his platoon global test fire and gave
He
you a
said-
second game.
yeah, he said you can pull, he said, so I can do one of two things. I can reset it and you can try the same one again or you can do a new thing. And I'm like, well, I mean, obviously I'm going to use this as an opportunity to sneak myself more than one game, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a blessing and a curse because I didn't get to play the full first demo that I was enjoying, sadly. But
But
Hey.
yeah, at least you got
I
you
got two.
less experience
Which
in one
leads to
game,
my-
but you got 2.
Yeah, but my moral is it controlled very fluid, very fluid. It felt very good to play. It just was a third. It was just a third analog stick. It didn't get in the way. It didn't feel gimmicky. It actually after like literally, and that's the best part about. I don't know what sort of wizardry they're doing to have a headset that large. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's like the largest headset on market, isn't it?
I believe
It
so,
looked
but
like
I mean,
it was that size.
Yeah.
I mean,
not sure
so
yeah,
like I have no idea what kind of like hoodoo ya voodoo they are pulling to make this work out, but
but then
It is-
again, yeah,
Yeah, but
most of
that
the
thing is
inside
light.
is like hollow.
it is light. It literally took seconds, right? Like, and it was it the same for anyone else? Like literal seconds to adjust and be like, okay, yeah, this is a
Literally,
thing.
yeah, it was fun.
It took me literally a couple seconds. Only issue I
Well, here's
had,
the thing, because remember they had mentioned to us that the PlayStation VR is only one wide-angle screen versus most other
Exactly.
VR devices where it's 2 screens.
yeah,
That's
so
what I'm
you-
saying. It's hollow on the inside. So,
Yeah, yeah. So that is actually a pretty good design decision because that means the adjustment time is way less because your eyes aren't
Yeah.
trying to turn 2 images into 1. So I feel like I said, I can't compare. So I'm gonna say that I feel like that had a factor to it personally, like in isolation why that occurred.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's better or worse because, like I said, this is my first experience with VR. I have no
Yeah.
other, so I can't compare. I'm not gonna say, well, this is the best. Can't say that. 'cause
Yeah, I haven't tried the
No.
Vive or the
Oculus, so I
Never.
can't say.
Oculus. Yeah.
I will say that the time I spent with that demo, greatly enjoyed. Like I said, just how to word this. And it was also the fact that I know I sound like a broken record reiterating this, but it does just feel right. It's like hard, and that's the crazy part. That's why people say you just gotta try it, and they're right. It just feels right.
Yeah.
Because it's
Right.
like it follows a little bit more natural logic than games do in isolation. Because yes, of course I can move my head.
Yeah.
Of course I can move my head and still steer. That makes sense in isolation of realism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I feel like that's only really like been able to be like conveniently achieved with VR so far. So I mean, kudos on that. But onward to the next game I played. But yeah, Blast Zone. If it wasn't for the demo breaking, it's a beta. Those things happen. I'm not mad. But it wasn't for the demo breaking. I would say that experience was a solid 8 out of 10 because without the demo breaking, because it showed me what VR could do. It showed it to me quickly. It was fun to play. It seemed like a game with some more polish I would play. It seemed like a game with polish I would play. And that's what you're really looking for when you're trying to sell people on new game technology and make them think it's not gimmicky. Does it seem like something I would enjoy playing, even with, if it was polished up a bit? And it did. So Blast Zone gets a good go for me.
Right.
Nice. You want to
Next to
explain
the
the experience?
Yeah, so the VR experience was an ocean thing. Not much to say on this one. It's kind of like what they did on the Gear one, where it's just like you're not actually playing a thing. You're just looking at the pretty things around you in VR. But this was focused on a focused 10-minute experience instead of a montage.
Right.
So this VR thing started right, and you were just and it was just you're in a cage, you're diving down, and I've heard of this demo before. I knew they were showing. I know they've shown this before, but you were in the ocean, you were diving down, right? You're like, okay, we in here, but then you get to the depths, and Shark shows up, Mr. Shark. You're getting bodied by
What's
Mr.
up,
Shark.
Jaws?
Yeah, long story short, you get bodied. I'm not gonna lie, I wussed out. I was flinching a little when it brushed at my feet because it's like once you're in there, it's so different. I don't know, but very interesting, very very interesting to me. That demo, it was not, like I said, nothing to write home about. It was just a normal little check out what this thing can do without you having to do too much. One thing I will note that I don't believe I mentioned to you guys was when you're in the experience, it becomes it wasn't like that for the game. For the game, it loaded all at once. It felt like, right, and you were good. You were in there.
Right.
For the experience, it was very clear when they were trying to hide loads, because without any contextual reason within the experience, like it would just dim down a bit without any contextual reason within the experience why it's dimming down. It would just do it. So, it was very clear they were trying to hide loading. I actually caught some, quite a bit of texture pop in when I looked back up at the previous area that I was descending from. I could see very much some, rough texture pop in, some rough stuff. So, even stuff that wasn't too crazy. And that experience, would you guys agree, was, that experience and Eve, Valkyrie were probably the best looking things there. Would you agree on that?
I agree.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and that that just shows we all always knew the PS4 was barely doing it,
Yeah,
So-
but there's graphics. The graphics.
But those graphics for those
extra
VR games, they
external
were
graphics.
highly bigger in quality.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
better
they-
than I thought they would be.
Much
But
fidelity.
it was still when you I caught stuff like that texture pop in and whatnot. It was still very clear that it's a situation where it's not it works, but it's still it's still kind of pushing the system. Which after we talk about the software, we can talk about the hardware a little bit. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, so the depths just other than that texture pop in, nothing really of note. It was just a game. It was just a little VR. Nice little VR ride. So yeah, that's everything I got to play. So on to Malachi. I'm gonna go to
me?
let's go Malachi Isaiah, because I think Isaiah played the most interesting one probably.
Sure.
Okay. So if you
So
want to say
Malachi, describe what you played.
My game was pretty much like a 3D puzzle game, but it was more like it's like Tetris mixed with fit the like a puzzle piece. You just had to, every time you'd go through there's this blanketed area, and you had to make sure your cube fit in the area to get onto the next side. And you had 3 tries, and on the third one you die. And pretty much every time you passed through the area you had to make it through to clear that part, it'd give you another cube in a random place. And since it's 3D, the cube could either be vertical or on the X horizon, and it could be in any side. And it made it much harder because you had to actually look around your cube to see where all the cubes are placed at to fit into the hole. And it was sort of challenging for me because I wasn't too familiar with the controls at the time. I mean, I got it, I picked it up quickly, but I mean, at the time, trying to put the thing in the thing, it takes a little practice for me, personally. But overall, it was really fun. It was really immersive, and it looked really good. Honestly, it reminded me of what's something comparable? It just really looked. It looked really nice, and
It looked like newer Tetris games.
yeah,
like
it looked like
graphically.
newer. Yeah, graphically, newer Tetris game with the 3D, with the VR virtual reality into it.
I felt
and a
like that
whole
was
different Z layer.
I felt like that was a really creative, because the games me and Isaiah played feel like a very natural first thought. Duh, that's what we're gonna do with VR.
Yeah, but then
But,
they go on a puzzle game like Super Hypercube, and
Yeah, Super Hypercube.
It-
that puzzle
It
game,
was very
like
colorful.
very comparable to
yeah,
when those little toys for preschoolers where it's now fit the circle in the circle.
yeah,
It's like a more
Exactly.
complicated version of that from the block's point of view. And that's what you're seeing is the
Exactly.
block's point of view. You're
Right.
right on top of it, turning it. Which I feel like that's a very interesting use, actually. I remember there was a game they showed at the PlayStation E3 that had a very similar use where it was basically a switching of camera angles, right? It was basically, I can't remember what it was called. Yeah, I'll find it and I'll give it to you, Isaiah. You can put it in the description, a link to it. But it's a game. It's a puzzle game about a girl and her father plane crash landing into an air fortress, right?
right.
And her dad getting kidnapped, so she has to like it's like a point and click adventure game, right?
Mhm.
But in VR. So but the way they make sure that you don't miss clues or puzzles is it constantly switches between omnipotent God mode point of view and the girl's point of view. Like when you're actually like when you're getting the pieces together, you're in omnipotent God view, and then when you're actually solving the puzzle, you're in the girl's point of view. And I don't know why, but I kind of drew that connection where it's like, you know, uses of VR you wouldn't really think about right away, because the shooter, the driving, the ship, you know, those are like, you know, the interactive experience. Those are the natural jumps you make, you know, when you first think we're gonna make a VR game. But yeah. So
Right.
how would you rate Super Puzzle Cube?
Honestly, for it being the creative, how different it is from the other games, I'd put it at like a solid 7,
Okay.
7 at least. Because the color and fidelity and challenge, it became like the fidelity. It looked really good. It was really smooth. The colors were actually outstanding. It looked very colorful and bright and made me want to invest more. The music also played into it. It sort of got jumpy, but it also changed from how I was doing in the game. It was very good, and how it moved once you got through it was very satisfying.
Yeah, it felt like it felt like a game that's kind of, because that's the rough part about demoing puzzle games. I feel it's like you don't want to give them something too, because I feel like the biggest sin against the game is that it looked too simple. But then again, it's a demo for a puzzle game. What puzzle game starts throws you right into the trenches, you know?
Exactly.
So it's like, I feel like that's just a rough part about trying to demo a puzzle game. When
Exactly.
I feel like
You don't have like
the demo,
time.
you don't have that time to slowly build mechanics like most puzzle games tend to. So it's just like, I feel like that's just more, a misfortune of the format through which it was shown to us than a sin on the game itself. Because I'm sure if that game's given like a full, run, it'll be
And if you peep the menu
Had levels, right?
had different modes. It's like online play, like you can use your stats against other people, like high scores and all that against like online people, and like it had different options, more options than just play the game.
right. Yeah. So that seems. I'm guessing that's planned for the launch in October. It seems simple enough that can get done by then. All right.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to say about Hyper Puzzle Cube?
I hope it's not retail $60. I mean, it's definitely worth it for what platform it's coming on. But then again, it's at the end of the day, it's still a puzzle game.
Okay.
I do want to say I like the neon vibe that was going on during that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it was
vibrant.
it was not an intensive game. It was an aesthetically pleasing one. Like, it was simple, but it was, it looked good. It was good to look at, and I feel like that's another thing people will have to consider when designing games for VR is how much of this can the user stand in their face.
Exactly. Like that's all I'm seeing. I don't want it to be ugly.
Exactly. That's another thing that I'll come down to.
Yeah.
All right. I guess moving on to Isaiah then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
I
played
got to
Eve
try out-
Valkyrie.
Yeah, Eve Valkyrie, which was a space shooter, and it was kind of interesting. Like, just instantly going into the game, they were trying to hype you up with this launch sequence.
Mm-hmm. Battlezone had something very similar, like a battle sequence to try to hype you up on the whole "you're playing in VR now, boy." Try to hype you up on that.
Okay, so yeah, they built you up with the launch sequence. You go out to launch, and you just in this huge spacious area, like a downflight map. And as you look around in your cockpit, you just see like other ships flying around and like huge carriers.
Right.
And then you're just flying around for a second, and controls were a little taxing at first, but I got used to them.
So was it a very similar thing to, say, Battlezone, where it was very much a third stick?
Yes.
Okay.
Because looking around was how you were really going to get a view on things, because your aiming was set and the right stick was fixing... I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. It was rotating. More like barrels and stuff like that.
Okay, so it was... Okay, I catch your drift. Yeah, I think that's a similar thing to what Battlezone had going on.
Right.
Mhm.
And afterwards,
Seemed-
That just seems a little bit
Uh.
better than what Battlezone had going on.
Yeah, yours seemed much more.
to be
I
fair,
mean, then
a
again, we
lot
couldn't get a
more
real
stuff
good
is
measure,
actually-
a good measure for it because the shooting just broke. Like reticle
That's true.
disappeared, bullets weren't coming out. Like the sound
Right.
effect was going off my ears, but bullets weren't actually coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you had a Vulcan cannon on your ship, and you
Okay.
also had missiles. And the missiles were auto-aimed so long as they were the closest to the center in your line of sight,
hmm
which I found was pretty simple.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
So
that
you want
until
harder
switched it-
mechanics?
Okay. So,
Yeah,
after
telling
you
me
just
that.
flying around for a bit, then you just come into this climax, and the enemies start popping up. So you're basically just trying to shoot down these enemies in a good old-fashioned dogfight.
Fair enough. Yeah, but
Like
you were
that new
telling me
Call-
that there was a bit of issue with you were having some struggles aiming until you discovered the auto lock rocket. So
Yeah.
do you think that was more of a I'm not used to this yet issue, or more of a this feels bad issue?
I think it was more of a I'm not used to it thing. Because to be in all fairness, using
Doesn't-
a
I mean-
walkie cannon in a shooter has never really solved a lot of stuff. Especially as far away as I was using it for most.
Right. And okay, I mean, just watching, we obviously weren't in there, but just watching it, it looked like a fun game because
It
I
did.
feel like those are the games that are gonna make it shine, right?
Yeah.
Are the games that are fun, that look fun even outside of VR, like they look like a game that you would have fun playing, just playing the game.
Right.
But then you get in VR and they add that layer. I feel like those are the games that are really going to make this tech shine.
Right,
I feel
and
like-
I was able to look around in the cockpit and just seeing all the space and all these craft
Right.
carriers.
Yeah.
looking
Like
around,
games that
seeing
you
your
would play
allies.
no matter
Yeah.
Yeah.
platform it's on.
Like I honestly
Adding-
feel like those are the ones that are gonna bring it. That are gonna sell people. Because you
Like,
can make
imagine
as many.
Overwatch VR that go fire.
Oh, that is trippy, bro. But like it's like because you got to make a good game first. When you don't make a good game first and you focus on gimmicks, you run into the problems Nintendo runs into, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Shots fired.
I mean, it's not shots fired. It's just
Yeah, it's true.
it's just speaking truth. It's like that's where their main issues run into. That's where they lose people.
They
Is
run gimmicks into the ground, and that's
they
the
run
issue.
they run gimmicks into the ground. And I feel like if VR doesn't want to go the same way, people will need to start focusing on making experiences that are fun games first and foremost, and get better with VR. I feel like that's the ticket.
Yeah.
And that's what EVE Online. I keep saying because I always say I want to say online automatically because it's EVE, but that's what EVE
Right.
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, yes, EVE
Yeah.
Valkyrie had, in my opinion, was this looked like a game I would just play.
Yeah.
This looks like a game I would.
You know what that game reminds me of? It actually reminds me of what's it called? It's on my Steam. Where you're robots and you.
About to
Social
say
Age.
Warframe? No,
No,
about
Social
to say-
Age.
I was going to say. I mean, there's ships in that, yes, but
Let me see.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Hawk, I believe. I think.
Oh, a Hawk. I'd say Hawk reminds me more of Battlezone, to be honest.
Sure, you're right.
I mean, Battlezone
more
reminds me
Battle-
more of Hawk, rather.
You're right.
But, yeah. So, Isaiah, anything else you want to add, or should we move right into what we thought about actual, like, more hardware-y things, like what the rep told us and whatnot?
Yeah.
I
Sure.
do. No, I had something, but I lost it. So
Oh, no.
I guess we can just move on now.
All right, so just because I was taking it down, just a quick rundown of everything we were told by the rep. About 100 games in development, 60 are going to be ready at launch, according to the dev. I'm not dev, rep. 60 ready at launch,
60 ready at launch,
which
Look at
is
the
an
lineup.
impressive amount.
Right.
Which is no lies, an impressive amount. So that's good on them for not going the way. Because when there's no software, nobody buys it, and when nobody buys it, there's no software. It's just a bad cycle. So good on them for launching.
Instantly
Making sure
points
they
at the
launch
Saturn.
Yeah, at least they, good on them for realizing that.
Mm-hmm. Pat on the back.
Yeah, pat on, golf clap. But outside of that, what I think would be good, what else I think is good on them is honestly that price point. I wish they would stop trying to sell it as, advertise it as 400, because it's only 400 if you already own everything else. It's my same problem with them saying, the gear is only 99. Yeah, plus having an NVIDIA rig to add value, plus already having a S6 or higher to add value. Because this is like, yeah, it's only 300. It's not 300, 400. But you also have to have your PlayStation camera. You also have to have the PlayStation camera popping.
Yes.
Right. If you don't have that PlayStation camera popping, what's the point? There isn't. And you also need to have Move controllers for some games.
Mm-hmm.
Which is depressing. But
try it out, but you had
none of the demos involved Move controllers, in which I was actually really curious about how well that was integrated. So that sucks. Only thing I want from Move games that we haven't seen from anything yet is the ability to make my hands black. Because a brother needs to be seeing them black hands, man.
Mario Maker did it first.
Mario Maker did it first. All the demos I've been seeing, white hands. Come on, that better be an option, fam.
I also want ambidextrous options. I need to.
Ambidextrous option. I want to have my nubs. You better let me have my nubs, man. But yeah, okay. Outside of that, so since we all know the PS4 barely can do this, I keep trying to say Gear VR. The PSVR actually comes with its own secondary box that plugs into it, and then plugs into the PS4. This box has another CPU and GPU in it. It's basically a please don't die on this, big boy. You got this.
Which makes me wonder if the Neo supposed to be a more souped up version.
The Neo might not even need the box. The Neo might just run it. The box might just be because we don't know the exact specs on the Neo yet. The box just might be a formality on the Neo, honestly.
And it
might just work.
Yeah, if you look at the box closely, it looks like you can actually detach the little two cables that were going into the PSVR external GPU and CPU. So maybe for the Neo, you'd be able to unplug it and plug it straight into the Neo.
That was a good catch. I didn't notice that.
Oh, yeah, good eye.
But yeah, that pretty much seems to be the gist of where that's at right now. Elsewhere, as far as hardware, it felt good on my face. The only issue was, when you're going swimming, that little rubber, that's right over
that's what I'm about to say
your
too.
nose.
On the bottom,
did it feel like it was a
light
little too big for you? Like the rubber was just a little too thick? That's what
a
it
little
felt like
bit. For me, a little bit. It was like I wanted to put it a little closer to my face because light was still coming in a little bit for the bottom of my cheeks. That might have been my issue because I tried to push it onto my face, but then the dude was like, oh, the clamp was on the back. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not supposed to touch it. Yeah. Because at first when I put it on, it was a little bit blurry, but I had to move it closer, and then it got better.
It's same. I had some blurriness issues until I pushed it on a little. Seems like something you're just going to have to finagle with. It was nothing that a little readjusting didn't fix, though.
Right. And granted, dealing with technology like this, you're gonna have to deal with some focus problems.
Yeah, it'll never be 100%. Another thing I was impressed about, another Gear versus PlayStation VR comparison. Isaiah here had to take off his glasses for Gear, did not for PlayStation. He started taking them off, and the man was like, no, put them back on. We got you.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
Reggie
good.
didn't try it for the Gear because
No.
it is
I mean,
adjustable.
the dude told him not to. Remember, we were at the Gear,
Sure.
and the rep told him to take his glasses off.
Right.
Sure.
Which is
So
good because I've always been at the point where, I can't ever go see 3D movies again.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
for them to just have me given the chance to play PlayStation VR with my glasses on is a good positive.
A+. Vive and Rift have that as well, don't they? I know the original
yeah.
versions of Rift did not, but they have it in retail released, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Not sure.
Well, if they have, then I'm not entirely sure.
Let's look it up after this. Just toss it in an annotation or something, Isaiah.
Oh, trust me. As soon as we're done with this, I'll probably just have edited it in the text spot. So probably
Yeah.
good.
So, yeah.
Let's. You guys want to compare?
Oh,
like,
but no. There's some other things I wanted to talk about the PSVR.
All right.
Was he mentioned that as of now we're looking at only one VR per PS4 at a time, but even in that case, there will be VR games that support co-op in the way that one guy will have, instead of split screen, one guy will have the VR on, one guy will have the TV monitor. And
Kinda
piggybacking
like
off
the
of that,
Wii U kind of experience.
yeah, kind of like a Wii U kind of experience, only
Yeah.
in
Maybe
VR.
without so much as
Reminds me of like the
graphic default,
the PS4 with the PS Vita remote play type thing.
Yeah, that's accurate. That's fair. But a little bit more interesting that he told us was because co-op is good. I never want couch co-op to die. So this is just another way to experience it. Though I do feel like it's gonna lead to some pettiness, like, oh, you used the VR last time.
Exactly.
I want the VR. You know,
I just don't want it to be like Halo 5, like how it came out single player.
people are gonna get petty. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah, so
that's
much
good.
pettiness.
Co-op is not dead in the VR future. Co-op is not dead.
Yeah.
But
This
And I-
is good.
something he did tell us was, so we asked him, so what functionality can I get out of this in non-VR games? Is there functionality I can get out of this in games that aren't built from the ground up for VR? What he divulged to us was, yes, basically the gist is it'll basically become a monitor, right? And it's what he said it's what Sony is calling cinematic mode, where basically if you're in there, it's like you can turn on cinematic mode, and then we didn't get to try this mode, so this is just the reps word. I don't 100% buy this. It just sounds a little too good to be true, personally. But he basically said it will mimic a 200-inch screen. That's what he said it mimics because of how the VR works, how the curve goes. He said it'll mimic.
I've seen that like on like well back in the day I used to really want like video glasses so I can watch movies on like the bus and stuff.
Yeah.
And like I haven't yet to seen like a 200 widescreen. That's quite absurd, but I have seen like
That's what I'm saying. It
100
sounded very
such.
facetious. It sounded very facetious.
Then again, I'm like, this headset is much bigger than the glasses I was looking at,
right.
so it's possible. And also, I like to point out how you were talking about with co-op. What if like how they have the PS app and stuff? What if they integrate something with the Gear VR so you can use it with your?
I
PS4?
highly doubt it. So Sony has been very against playing ball with competitors recently. Like, remember when Microsoft announced, "Hey, it'll be 100% possible in the future if Sony's willing to play ball for us to allow cross-play on like fighting games, COD, but what have you."
Sure.
They said it would be 100% possible, and Sony was straight up shut that down. They said we are not playing ball on that.
True.
So I doubt seeing that happen. Honestly, even though especially since Sony has made it very clear that if any third-party stuff shows up if anything third-party shows up, to make it work on PC, they are knocking it down. They have made that very clear.
Wow.
They are not trying to play ball with competitors with this new tech.
They're getting
Well,
Nintendo levels of that.
Yeah, I highly doubt there'll be any gear integration. As nice as that would be, as interesting as that would be, I highly doubt it's coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's rough, but hey, that's how that goes.
Rip. This is life.
Yep. So what else? Something else he mentioned that was interesting about the cinematic mode is that it was not just for movies. It also would work for games that were not native VR. So basically, it just becomes your TV. Is the gist of that conversation.
That's what outside
It
is.
becomes your TV with your 200-inch, quote unquote, your 200-inch TV. That's why
That's
I
how
said
it is with the Gear VR. Like when you could watch YouTube videos on it and then expand it. It does look quite big, but I don't know what they mean exactly by 200 inches because
that's what I was saying. That sounded so
physically-
facetious to me.
it's impossible. But I mean, if you were to go like into the thing, I guess projector wise, possibly it's 200.
I feel like
quote
it's
unquote inches.
I feel like it's a facetious technicality that they're pushing as a selling point. Honestly, that sounded facetious. I'm not making any judgments because, like I said, they didn't demo it. We couldn't use it. But it sounded very facetious.
Yeah, because I mean, the glasses I
Yeah.
used to look up, they did claim things like that, but quite a bit, like an actual movie theater was like in your
Yeah.
face.
That's pretty much what he said, 200 inches.
But I'm like, then again, how would that work? How?
I feel like it has to be something with the angles or how how it pushes it on you. Like I said, I feel like it's going to be I feel like it's going to be a technicality,
yeah.
honestly.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like if you convert inches to such and such, and then put it.
Yeah.
into the-
Hey, if you convert the inches to pixels and then you consider the fact that you have 360 degrees, you know, like it's gonna be like that.
Mhm.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel it though. I feel it. Now, anything else to add on the hardware front, Isaiah? We already mentioned the two goggles thing.
Mention its weight.
I was gonna say something earlier, but I honestly forgot what I was to touch on. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, would you guys want to compare like the prices of other VR?
For what you
stuff?
get? Okay. So
Yeah.
here's how I'm gonna. Okay. Let's compare what you get. So, Oculus, 600 flat. You get the helmet. That's what you got, right? Vive 800 flat, and you get everything, right?
Motion
You get the headset, you get the motion stuff, you get the capture camera, you get everything, right? Here's
Whole
the
nine.
issue, the whole shebang. This is where PlayStation VR is in a weird place because it literally has so many different price points depending on the combination of what you already own, right?
Yeah. Actually,
So-
here's a picture, or here's a thing from this website about how much the PSVR with the camera, 2 controllers, and a game, which is like 2 moves or something, and it's like $900, which is but that's
Wait, that's a little. I don't know about that. 2 moves don't cost that much. PlayStation camera's only another 100.
true. So it's probably gonna be like 600-700.
Yeah, I think my estimate of a little under 600 is more reasonable. Because let me just, you guys can go ahead and keep discussing. I'm just gonna check real quick how much PlayStation Move controllers are right now.
$30 on Amazon. Each.
$30 a controller.
Yep.
It seems like you need two for most experiences. Yeah, like I said, that's $560. $400 for the PlayStation VR, $100 for the camera, and $60 so you for enough moves to do the majority of experiences.
Honestly, PlayStation 4 camera for $57.
That's what I'm saying, and that's if you buy it new. And if you buy everything new, you're looking at $560. Still the lowest out of what many would consider the high-end options. You know, many people would not consider the Gear the high-end option out of the group. So it's still that's still your best value out of the what people are calling the front runners, the high-end options.
You're right.
So yeah,
it's mainly
I don't know where you got 900 from. I guess that's including. Also, I don't already own a PS4.
PS4, right.
Yeah, that's why I say there's so many different price points. Then there's the I own none of this price point. Like, sure. I feel like the most common price point we're going to be looking at is $560. Because honestly, most people interested in VR, in the PlayStation VR, already have PlayStations. The most common price point is gonna turn into that.
Right. Well, all things considered, it's still less than the Oculus at $600 and the Vive at $800.
Which is why I'm saying all Sony has to do to win right now is swallow their pride, swallow that Japanese pride, and play ball. I'm sorry. Like, it's the dumbest to me that they're turning out all these opportunities to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're pulling a Nintendo night now, and I don't really appreciate it.
They need to, like, if they just... Honestly, it's more effort to make it not work on PC than it would be to just let it work. You know? It'd be more work to fight people cracking it than it would be to just let them have it.
Right.
Like, if anything, that's getting you more sales. I don't know. That's more butts and seats if you ask me. I don't know. So, I don't know. I don't work at Sony. I don't know their business opportunity. But from my perspective, that's just more butts and seats if you just let it work on PC.
Right.
Which obviously... Like every single thing that Sony, has that they're like, no, we don't want it on PC. That's Microsoft. That's a competitor. It's going to get cracked. It's going to work. DS4 Windows. You can use DualShock 3s on there for Pete's sake. You can use anything you want on there for Pete's sake. It's going to get cracked.
Yeah.
We live in a day and age where there's no way it's not going to get cracked. They might as well just play ball, honestly.
Might as well just make it easier for everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Because they're going to waste more money fighting it than they're going to gain by keeping it.
When I could just get the
Vive.
Vive.
It can't
and then
be that costly to just make one program or driver. They'll just hope.
You can, because people are going to do it in their free time, Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, they're going to be taking way, way, way more time and money to fight hackers, like people trying to crack it, than it is to just throw your hands up and let it work.
Right.
Like, that's that'd be a losing point for me. Like, I want to play my games, I don't want to just play PS4 games,
that's the thing. That's the only thing that's holding them back is they'll have the because don't get me wrong, they'll make bank. If enough people adopt this, they'll make bank. The PS4 has a large enough install base that even like without, spreading it out and letting everybody playing ball on PC, they'll still make out fine. So they're winning that hard right now. Their install base is big enough right now for that they will make bank. That's guaranteed, no questions.
Totally.
Like, because thinking about it, Nintendo's basically giving up as it is. Because the Wii U has just reached 10 million, and that's not going anywhere. And Xbox hasn't released sales units in who knows how long.
And Xbox is pushing software.
Yeah.
By making everything work on everything, they're just pushing software right now. Anyway,
which is smart.
The PS4's current install base is at 40 million.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like they won't. It's not gonna. Like, it's not. They'll make out, but I think that I don't think they'll win without playing ball with PC. I don't think they'll win.
Right.
I think they'll make money. No doubt they'll make money.
For sure.
I just don't. I don't think they'll win
Yeah, they're
without
not gonna make.
playing ball.
Yeah, they're not gonna win if they're not gonna let it be on PC because that's like that'd be the main reason to spend $800 on the Oculus because I know I'm getting mad high fidelity.
You're gonna get
because
it's like at that point you're only limited by your machine. You're not limited by the PS4. You're limited by your actual build. You're limited, which is another argument as to why the PS4 is a cheaper option, no matter how you swing it.
Exactly. How do you plug the external PS4 part into the PS4?
Probably just USB, honestly. I don't see where else it would go.
Because now when I think about it like that, would that even matter about your hardware at that point if your external VR thing itself already has an external GPU and CPU? If you can plug
that's what I'm saying. Because I'm not 100% sure how the architecture works, but if it works halfway near how we think it works, they have all the pieces to win right now. They just have to pull the trigger and play ball. They have all the pieces to win right now.
It's like literally everybody can have VR because you're giving them a GPU.
You're giving them a box with a GPU in it that says, "Hey, plug this up."
To make it work.
That's honestly impressive technology. I know it's only going to run through that.
Exactly.
They'd get some stuff. They'd make some real money if they made that GPU just like, just plug this in. But yeah, whatever. It's whatever.
Yeah.
At this point, we're spitballing. The real war happens in October. We don't know what's going down. We're just spitballing. So I think that's about it. So, any closing thoughts, Malika?
All I have to say is it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be nice when it comes out, but at the same time, if I had the money, I'd probably just spring for a Vive instead because more options, or an Oculus because more options. It's not held down.
Okay, Isaiah.
I'm just gonna say, what a time we're at right now. Just, just on this amazing technology. We've hit VR, virtual reality.
We have the
Things
holodeck.
that were temporary before, but haven't really been reached until this point. And
RIP the virtual boy.
RIP the virtual boy. RIP 4D. But just an amazing experience it was just sitting there. And it just makes me upset for Sony because they're being really strict about this. And if they would just loosen up, I'm pretty sure they hit all the right things.
Yeah, they'd win. They have the pieces. They'd win no problem if they just play ball.
Definitely win the generation.
Some people just get it because it looks good. It looks really nice. It looks really polished.
It's a lot more It has a lot more fanfare going on than the other helmets. I will say that. I was showing people our pictures from today, and even they were like, "Huh, that one has a lot more lights than the other one." It has way more fanfare.
It's just built like that. It has it's a lot more technical. But then again, it also shows.
Don't get me wrong. They add nothing. It's just fanfare.
They're just fanfare.
It's just shiny lights to make glowing blue to make sure you're playing on PlayStation.
Kind of like the backlight on the top of the DualShock 4.
Make sure you know. It's called brand recognition.
But why is it not a PlayStation symbol? This opportunity, Sony, what are you doing?
Depending on how much, also want to say, depending on how much the new console is, the Neo, in comparison with this now,
it being not much more than.
I feel like Neo's gonna go for if I had to guess, I don't know if they'd go as high at 500, but I don't know if they'd be selling it at a loss at 400 because I feel like
it's going 4K, so it's got to have power.
Yeah, I feel like the most optimal way to go would be 400 and then drop the price of the default
Yeah.
of the
That's
OG,
what-
but it's like, I doubt it. I highly
Yeah.
doubt it.
Because it's such
But then here's
quality.
the thing, because I'm thinking about Microsoft and their practice with the Slim, which is basically their Xbox
They
4K.
they suicided the Slim. The Slim got sent out to pasture to die. Here is the
Yeah.
Slim. Here's every reason not to buy a Slim with the Scorpio
Exactly.
next year. They sent that out to pasture to die. That was the only
like-
thing I felt like they
Yeah.
did wrong at the
Here's
conference.
the Xbox One
They
Slim.
sent the
Yeah,
Slim
yeah,
out
yeah,
to
yeah. It's weak. Here's
It's
the 4K. Here's the
It's
real stuff.
weak. It's weak.
Here's
Let's
the
show you
real 4K, which is basically a new 3DS.
He's been drinking his muscle milk.
All right. Yeah, but closing thoughts from me is I wouldn't say I went in a skeptic. I went in a lot less excited than everyone else, I feel. I felt like, because people were saying, yo, this is the future, man. I still don't feel like this is the sole future. I feel like
Yeah.
TV and controller will never die. I feel like this has a
I
very...
mean, the standard will change. Sooner or later, 4K will become the norm.
Yeah, but I have a...
But it'd still be on a
do-
TV.
After experiencing it,
Yeah.
I do feel like this has its own place as its own thing. I don't think that... I
Yeah.
feel like these two things are going to coexist. You know, the classic
Yeah, it's not-
controller
it's not-
TV, I don't think this is going to bully the market
It's
out.
not going to be like a
I don't think it's going to get to the
norm.
point... It isn't
it's a
all-encompassing.
niche thing.
Right.
I don't think it's all... Especially at the current prices, I don't think it'll become all-encompassing anytime soon. I think there's too much... Honestly, as fun as it is, I feel like, yeah, outside of that niche experience for games designed for the ground up for it, I feel like it's too much of a hassle to become a common household thing. You know?
Yeah, you got to set up like especially like for the Vive, you got to set up the two thingies on the
Yeah.
to
Like
track
we
your
said,
movement.
Like we said, you need a chair. You need a chair that swivels, or you're playing standing. That's how it's going.
Exactly.
If you want to look all around you, unless you want to do backing up the car, hand on the seat. So
Huh.
yeah, my
Sounds like
thing is
another device that uses motion sensor.
we don't talk about that. But my final thoughts is I'm happy with the technology. I am impressed. That was very enjoyable. We will see how it does on market when it comes out. And yeah, that's about it for me. So thank you for having me on your channel, Isaiah.
Same
course.
first time here.
All
Still
right.
got to send you all the video clips through Dropbox.
Oh yeah. All right. Well,
Well,
bye,
just with
everybody.
Closing.
Travis,
This has
anything
been
you
super
say?
icy. Well, just Travis. He's just been kind of quiet, but I don't know. If not, I can just
That's
close
recording.
it
all right. Well,
okay. I'm here.
all right, the man behind the curtain, Travis
right.
Graham,
What's popping?
now. He's coming clutch today.
recording all of this for us because all of our stuff was acting up.
Yeah, I actually got Camp Stasia like halfway through, so I've been recording like the last 33 minutes.
But this man has been recording like the whole thing.
Yeah, man behind
Yeah.
the
Today.
Oh, what's popping?
Travis, go ahead. Go
To
ahead.
be completely
Hello
honest,
to H God.
To be completely honest, I'm interested in the VR solely because I know it's like basically like a first person feel, but like the thing I've always wanted to do is like, basically play an RPG on VR is what I'm very good for.
That's the dream.
That's what I'm hoping for because like basically it's like to have a sword in my hand and stuff. Not like first person Skyrim, but maybe like a turn based RPG. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh, I
VR.
But how would it? Where would the camera be? Where would you be placed at though?
in the eyes of your party, you just shift
Yeah, you
between your
just
party
shift
members.
people.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
That's what I
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I was like. That's what I because like that's good VR. That's where like I was thinking it could go, and I'm like I'm excited for that possibility. I didn't see it personally, but like I've been I read up a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You're
It's
around.
very
You're around.
yeah. So like you hold the PS4 controller.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, that's one
or
problem.
you can hold the motion.
Not
the motion-
really, because think about how much do you think about the controller when you're playing a normal game?
Okay, see that's the thing.
It's
too.
the
I'm
same
like, Do
thing.
you really think about the controller a lot though? That's why I was
You
like,
don't.
No.
That's why I
Yeah.
said it's the same thing. It's gone. You know,
Fidelity.
that disappears from your hands faster than the headset disappears from your head in the experience because that's natural. That's what we've been doing.
yeah.
That disappears quick. I didn't think about the controller once, except the one time I looked down and said, "Oh, that's cute. I can see the controls."
Okay.
And I'm sure if we have the motion sticks, it'd feel more like how you want it, like an RPG sword and stuff.
Yeah.
In hand and be more
Like
natural.
an old fashioned like turn-based RPG is what like I would want to play on VR. But like the first person feel is so pretty nice, and that's basically about it.
All right.
Got anything else?
Thank you, man behind the curtain. Thank you, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Isaiah. Same to you, Travis.
Y'all niggas.
Have,
love-
Thank you, Travis, for recording this when none of us were able to.
Nah, y'all good.
I also filmed
Isaiah, tell your
filmed the
fans
real
goodbye.
stuff. I filmed the stuff on the camera, some of it,
Right. Thanks to Malachi for providing the footage.
Hey, Malachi's gonna start doing
Hey.
music videos now.
All right, that's enough of
Hey.
that. Isaiah, say goodbye. Say goodbye to your people.
Okay,
Loki
yeah.
already have two. Don't
At
put
this
them out there.
point- oh gosh.
That's
At this
enough
point,
out of
this
you.
is- That's okay. That's enough. At this point, this has been Super Icy and Friends. Hey guys, Super Icy here. Just want to thank you guys for watching the video and plug this podcast I'm a part of. It's called Pop Culture, and we talk about pop culture and media such as anime or video games. Tell us about my friend Matt. You should check it out. Click in the box on the video will send you to his channel. Thanks again, guys. Later.